Hi, I'm Mark Mancini with VRB Outstanding. This week's topic is pools. So there's a lot to know about pools. This one is a concrete pool, which is very little maintenance. But there are some pools out there that are liner based. They have a plastic liner that goes on the outside of them. Now, in a typical home, these liners last about 10 years. But in rentals, guess what? They last about 3 to 5. So you'll have to get them replaced because the guests will trash them. Now, the other thing too about pools that is very important, the water. Many pools are chlorinated, and that can irritate your eyes and your skin. The best pool system to go with is a saltwater pool. Salt water is easier on your skin, allows it to be a little slippery to the feel, but also it involves a lot less chemicals when you balance everything out, so it'll save you money in the long run by switching to a salt-based pool. I highly encourage that with your pool system. The other thing that's extremely important with pools is the pool heater and the pool cooler. Now, I've got a brand favorite. They don't pay me for this, but I've got one in each of my homes. It's called AquaCal. AquaCal makes a great, reliable pool heater. I've had one for 10 years. I just put this one in recently within the past year. Their system is durable, and it's one of the best on the market. And if you shop around the internet, you can get some good prices. They're drop shipped right from the manufacturer. And the pool heater and cooler is great because if you're in a warm climate, it'll actually remove the heat from the pool and keep it cooler so it's not bath-like in some areas. You may not use that much. You'll probably use the heater a lot more. These heaters will get to be 85, 90 degrees very easily. With pool heat, 85 degrees is probably your typical point for pool heat. And there's something I'm gonna say that some people I know don't agree with, but I don't care. Pool heat should be a fee-based consumption. And the reason being is there is a price to that, an electric bill. Or if you've got a propane or gas-powered one, which is a little bit more efficient, but not many places have gas available by the ocean. So it's usually electric pool heat. You'll see a spike in the usage. I believe that spike is warranted for an extra $350 per week charge for pool heat. I've never had a guest complain about paying that because we've had the pool and it's great. The other thing too with pools is it's one of the biggest amenity searches out there on VRBO and Airbnb. People want pools. If you have a pool, that's great. It's a moneymaker. You're gonna get more bookings, you're gonna get more money, and to be quite frank, your guests are gonna have more fun. You're gonna be VRB outstanding with a pool. So going back to our pool heater and pool cooler, which your guests are gonna enjoy, especially in the spring and the fall, AquaCal's got something called Pool Sync. And Pool Sync is really cool. It's about $135. Plugs into your pool heater. It's really easy to do. It's 3 wires. You affix it to the wall either with screws or double-sided tape. And it's Wi-Fi enabling your unit. So no matter where you are, you're able to turn on or off your pool heat, set your temperature. You'll be able to find out the pool's temperature as well. So the guest says, hey, the pool heat isn't working. I want a refund on it. You can look in your app and say, well, the pool heat says it's 85 degrees. So sorry, but that's what it is. So that pool app called Pool Sync, highly suggest doing that. Now let's talk about some other things about the pool. The lighting. Lighting is a liability. You have to have pool lighting on. Now for many of us, daylight savings time affects us. So when you set your pool timer, you're gonna wanna make sure that the pool timer is set so that it goes on at dusk and goes off, say, around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. 1 is still early in some places. So consider the pool timer to go on, let's just say, if you're in daylight savings time, in the winter time, have it go on at 6 p.m. That should be just the right time at dusk. And then when springtime comes, it'll change over to 5 a.m. to be on a little earlier. But I think you're better off doing it and setting it one time and not have to worry about changing it twice a year. The other thing about pools that you need to be aware of is liability. So you need to have depth markers at the deep part of your pool. For instance, they make tiles that say the depth and no diving. You're going to want this to verify that people know that this isn't a pool that's very deep and you shouldn't be diving in it, hopefully to prevent lawsuits. Now also in some states, there are some state-specific signs that you'll need by your pool. And every state's different and they change frequently. This is where your local management company comes in real handy because they're aware of these rules and they'll make sure that they're going to keep you safe and out of lawsuits. So, one of the key things you need to add to that sign is one that is definitely probably the most important, and that's no glass by the pool. So glass is a no-no by the pool because if they drop that glass, whether it's in the pool or outside the pool, they're never going to get all the little shards of glass. It's very dangerous. So no glass by the pool. That has to be strictly enforced. The other thing you're going to want on that sign is to let them know to take a shower before they enter the pool. You should always have an outdoor shower readily available for them to use. Get off all that suntan oil, any other lotions or oils they have on them, just to make sure that it doesn't contaminate your pool. I've seen instances where you've had high pool usage by many guests and it turns the pool green and it has to be shocked. So you want to make sure that guests enjoy the pool, and if it does turn green from those lotions and oils, you need to understand that the pool is still safe to be in. It's just not very aesthetically pleasing. So something to note, the guest causes that. Another key thing to let your guests know about is when your pool cleaner is coming. You need to let them know if some stranger's just going to walk on their property and start messing with their pool. So in Florida, we have pool service once a week. That's Tuesday. I let my guests know that Richard's coming and he'll make sure that the pool is safe and clean for them. And with my South Carolina house, it's a little different. In season, we have them come out 3 times a week because it's a bigger house. We have more guests using the pool and it usually gets to be more work. Also, there's a hot tub there and that also requires additional maintenance. I would let them know the days of the week that they're there, but in the South Carolina house, since they're coming 3 days a week, I always make sure that the pool cleaners come on the turnover day, which is Saturday. And that's important. I want to know if there's any damage to the pool, but most importantly, I want to make sure that pool looks great for the incoming guests. So I let the guests know that that pool was just serviced for them to enjoy. So always let them know that with your contacts to make sure that they know a stranger's coming on the property. Now, another thing to know about pools is safety. Make sure you check with your homeowner's policy and see what's required for having a pool. For instance, some homeowners' policies will require a fence around the pool. Some won't insure you if there's not one. So find out from them what's needed. And in some places, you might see like around here, we don't involve any kind of fence because it takes away from the natural beauty. So we always have to make sure that we disclose this to the guests that this pool and this home is really not ideally suited for children. We don't have fences in this pool. And as you can see, it drops about 7 feet downward into the Atlantic Ocean. And we do this because we want to make sure that our guests have unencumbered views of the entire Atlantic Ocean and alligator reef life. Now, many people think that's unsafe, but for us, the view is what we're here for. Some places will not only want you to have your pool fenced, but your entire property fenced as well. So double check with your insurance carrier as to what is needed. Now, the great thing about this pool, it's about, 60 years old. And it was built at a time when the laws were a little gray, or maybe there weren't any. This is actually the only pool in the Keys, in fact, it may be the only pool I've ever heard of, that actually sits on the Atlantic Ocean. 2 sides of this pool actually touch ocean waves. So, in fact, there's 2 iguanas there right now, enjoying the sun. But this pool has some great views. In fact, if you look behind me out in the distance, it may be hard to see, but on the horizon is Alligator Reef Lighthouse. So talking about pools, I have to mention 2 other things that are just as important as that beautiful water I was just in. First, beach towels. If you have a pool, you need to have a beach towel for each and every one of your guests, period. We'll talk about that in my course in detail, the best towels to get for your money. But in the meantime, let's also mention Chase Lounges. Now, Chase Lounges, you should have at least one per bedroom or one per guest, depending how much room you have. Now, here in Florida, we have one per guest. In other places, for instance, in South Carolina, we've got a 7-bedroom, but with the pool area the way it is, there's only room for about 10. You want to try to fit as many as possible. If you can do one per guest, that's great. A lot of times you can't, so try to get at least 1 to 1.5 per bedroom. That's ideal. When the guests arrive, all of your Chase Lounges should be in the same position, whether all up or all down, but all of them should be the exact same way. You should also have a table for them, preferably a couple small ones to put their phones, their glasses, their drinks on. And remember, those drinks should be in plastic or cans. So if your guests are bringing beer or seltzer water, they can always get those in cans. But you should always supply your guests plastic cups, the reusable kind, not the red cups, so that they have safe cups to use by the pool. Also, plastic plates in case they want to have snacks or a meal by the pool. Always have plasticware, never glass, never placeware that can break and cause any kind of injury to people walking all over it. So that's about the outside of the pool. Let's talk more about the inside of the pool. A great website if you need any pool accessories, whether it be water pumps, chlorinators, saltinators, etc. Dohenys.com. That's DOHENYS.com. They don't give me any money for advertising. I just know that in a pinch, whenever I needed something in a couple days, they got it to me, and they got it to me quickly. Another thing is autofill. Now, autofill hopefully came with your pool, because I don't believe you can retrofit it very easily. Autofill will sense if your water level is too low and fill water back into the pool, because your guests probably won't do that for you. Now, hopefully your pool cleaner will, but again, it's a manual process to fill it up with water, unless you can get something else. And this is called a low price autofill. Attaches right to your spigot and has a timer on it. And what you do is you turn it to whatever time you want to have it on, and it'll run the hose for that length of time so you don't overfill your pool, and it'll turn off for you automatically. So you'll get to be a good judge of that, whether it's taking you 30 minutes or an hour to fill in a couple inches of your pool, depending how big your pool is. So I'm almost done here with my video. I'm going to enjoy my pool. So in the meantime, I would like you to hit the like button and subscribe, and look out for me next week on my next VRB Outstanding video.